Hello, it is Flo and welcome back to another pyjama video because it is 1 AM, so hence the pyjamas, the slightly dishevelled look and the weird camera angle. But I wanted to make a video. First of all, apologies for no video last week, but the week got away with me and before I knew it, it was Saturday, so... But I'm back this week with another video. Today I want to do a slightly different video. I want to do a video on like puberty and periods and stuff, which is something I do want to talk about more in the future, but this is just what I want to talk about for now, for today. Because there's lots of things that people don't talk about for many reasons. I will put out a quick warning / disclaimer. I will be talking about periods and blood and puberty and sex and all that sort of stuff. I won't go into any detail, but yeah, if you're not a fan of that talk, then please do not watch this video. Also, I am by no means an expert. I will mainly be talking about the female side of things, just because that's what I've had personal experience with. Just because I have female anatomy, and like I said, that's what I've had personal experience with. And I don't really want to talk about stuff that I haven't really had experience with, because that's not really my place. But I'll do what I can to try and make it as general as possible. And hopefully, even if it doesn't apply to you, you can still learn something. So here's 5 things I wish people had told me about puberty, or things I learned about puberty or sex, or I didn't learn until I experienced it, so. First thing that I want to kind of talk about, and this mainly goes for the females but also can be applied to anyone really, but losing your virginity is not some kind of magical moment that the media and Hollywood films in particular make it out to be. For females in particular, it can be painful, they can bleed, and it can just be overall uncomfortable and not very pleasurable. You'll often find you may not enjoy it until the 3rd, 4th, maybe even the 5th time. Just because your body will get used to it, and your body will... Yeah, my theory is that during the first couple of times your brain is so concentrated on what to do next and what to do in this situation that it doesn't relax, and after a couple of tries you know what to do, and you can focus your attention on actually enjoying the experience rather than panicking about what to do next. But that's just my theory. Yeah. For some people, you know, it can be a penny dropping moment for their sexuality, or for you know, conditions. I can't remember what it's called. I'll put it up on the screen somewhere. But it's like where sex is painful, so it can, you know, so obviously if you do find sex painful after the first couple of times, like excruciatingly painful, then do get it checked out. But for females it is perfectly normal to bleed, because that means that your hymen has burst. It's perfectly fine. Perfectly normal to find it painful, because obviously your vagina is a muscle and it's being stretched out. But that bleeding and that pain should stop after about half an hour to an hour. If it goes on any longer than that, please go and get it checked out, because there could be some other underlying issue. And again, for males, if you don't enjoy sex the first time, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't make you a man. It doesn't, you know, it's arbitrary really. Second thing is that it is perfectly fine for your genitals, or any body part in general, but particularly your genitals, it is perfectly okay for them to look unattractive. I think particularly since the introduction and the increase of porn and Photoshop and all of these editing things, we have kind of changed the way that we look at the human body. So it is okay. You know, I've done lots of Googling, I've done lots of research, I found lots of girls in particular who are very self-conscious about the way that their vagina or their labia looks. It is perfectly fine for it to be saggy, it is perfectly fine for one lip to be longer than the other, or for your inner labia to hang out lower than your outer labia. It's perfectly fine for it to be discoloured, and you'll often find that as you get older, those body parts will get darker, just because of the change in hormone levels. And again, for men, it is perfectly fine for your, you know, for your penis or your testicles to look a little bit different than your friends or what society says they should look like, because your body is asymmetrical. And I think as long as it functions and as long as it doesn't cause you any pain or discomfort, then it's perfectly fine. And again, this will change with age, it will change with childbirth. Sex and masturbation does not change it, only childbirth and say like tight underwear would. And if you're uncomfortable, there are plastic surgeries that you can, you know, routes and stuff that you can go down to change it. But like I said, it's not worth it unless it's causing you pain or discomfort. This goes particularly for females, but you will find that particularly during the first 5 to 10 years of you having periods, your periods will change. So you'll find that as you go through that time period, you'll find that they'll get heavier, you'll find that they will get more regular, but you'll also find that your PMS symptoms will, you'll kind of rack up an amount of PMS symptoms. So for example, when I first started my periods, I didn't have any PMS symptoms. I maybe got a little bit emotional, but that was about it. Whereas now I am a crabby bitch, Satan's punching my uterus, and it all just goes to shit, basically. I've also found that I've got heavier as I've got older, which is perfectly normal. But you'll find that after about 5 to 10 years of having periods, your body will get used to, you know, kind of having this, and it will be the same. It'll be the same day every single month. It will be the same level of flow. You'll get the same PMS symptoms, but it's just while your body is kind of like losing the training wheels or the stabilizers, that, you know, everything's all over the place, and that can be annoying. That can be hard. It can be emotional, but it is perfectly normal for you not to be regular, or for you to kind of fluctuate in different symptoms. It's perfectly normal. That leads me on to my fourth point, which is puberty takes longer than you think. Usually people finish or have their last stage of puberty during late adolescence. That's usually between the ages of 18 to 21. Those who start puberty a little bit earlier, it can start from anywhere from the age of 9, usually finished their puberty usually finishes, or the final stage is usually mid-teens, so 14 to 16, but the average is late teens, early adulthood. So it's a good 5 to 6 years process. It's not something that's just you get boobs, you get your period, or your voice drops and all of this happens. It's not just a click your fingers and it's done. It's a lot longer than that. So, and it all depends on when it starts. Depending on when you finish. Many people start and finish at different ages, but usually I found that the most common time to start periods and puberty and that sort of stuff is usually that transition from junior school to senior school, so around the ages of 10 to 12. I was a little bit later than that, but that's, you'll often find as well that, particularly for females, that your periods and all of that stuff all start around the same time that, say, your mother did or your sisters did. So for example, if your mother was a late bloomer, you are more likely to also be a late bloomer, because genetics also play a role, as well as many other factors. But that's also just a little bit of a gauge. The last one, which is less of like a what I wish I knew and more just a fun little factoids, or some fun little factoids that I thought I'd share with you because I couldn't think of a fifth thing. I've done some research, so I have my webpage up over here, hence the reflection of my glasses and also me looking over there. I will link this article down below. It's by no means a scientific website, but it's got links to scientific websites, so, and I did this for A-level, so but there have actually been some suggestions that women's or females' periods actually sync up. This is because of Pheromones, they suggest that when you're in close proximity to another female, your pheromones interact. They actually did a study on this. I'll see if I can find it and link it below. It's rather disgusting what they did, but they got the pheromones from the armpits of some women, because that's apparently where your pheromones are released, and they rubbed it on another person's or another female's like lip, pores under here, and they found that actually their periods did sync up. So that's a fun little fact. I found that with my housemate. I found that with other female people that I've lived with, that they do sync up. There's also some suggestions and some studies that have shown that actually your period syncs up with the moon, hence the menstruation. There's also some studies to show that that 1 in 4 women, their periods sync up with the phasing of a new moon. The word menstruation actually comes from the Greek word for moon, and the combination between the word moon and the word month. But there have also been some studies debunking both of these theories about syncing up with other people and also syncing up with the moon. But I thought it was just fun little facts to find here. There's a study done, like a women's dorm, and they found that there was no syncing, whereas some people, like a recent 2006 study, has found no interaction, and it's commonly believed now that there isn't, but it's a lot harder to prove than just a simple study, just because, like I said, everyone's different. But I just thought that's some fun things to share with you. I hope you guys found that somewhat useful, and I kind of talked about some stuff, because I feel that schools and teachers and adults don't really tell you what you need to know, particularly when it comes to like boys learning about girl stuff and girls learning about boy stuff. So I'll probably do some more of these sciencey videos as I enjoy them, but I shall love you and leave you. I will be trying to go back to weekly videos, but because of the current situation and university and all that fun stuff, may not be able to be as regular, but I'm hoping I can be. And keep an eye on my Instagram, which I will link below, and see you next week. Stay safe. Over and out.